local, so I get a better quality here. And so it's great for everyone to be here. I haven't had a show in months, so I didn't expect a lot of people to show up. Although I have 144 people that registered, not gonna, if it's not on their calendar, it's not going to exist for them. But there's been a couple of reasons why I didn't. I was just dealing with clients, and I kind of want to provide like shows that actually offer some value. And I'm a LinkedIn guy. I don't want to talk about LinkedIn stuff all the time. If I can help you, reach out to me. I would love to help. I'm kind of the LinkedIn nerd, on there. And I learn stuff from other LinkedIn people with which is what I enjoy. And so every time I run into a problem, I create a post on it or that I solved for a client and things like that. And so I connected with Lydia, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago, I'm
Yeah.
guessing, somewhere around that time. And she was talking about her CRM and how it's combined and all that. And I thought about that. I said, you know what? I think a lot of smaller companies don't really use CRMs in general to optimize their business, and including me. So I may be very good in these certain areas, but in order to kind of optimize the business, just the normal follow ups, and then not having all these separate components. There's a cost factor, there's a time factor, and there's a learning curve, right? So Lydia, I'm imagining if we get through the learning curve quite quickly, all those other things kind of fall into place. So what I want Lydia to do, and she can do anything she wants, so she's a guest speaker, but I want her to kind of demo maybe her product and what she's doing and how that applies to a lot of businesses and just structural stuff. Unless you have something better for us, Lydia, feel free to take it away.
Well, I can share my screen, and what I'm going to be sharing is the dashboard for my account. Um, and there we go. And this is what you see when you log in the morning. And I just had this conversation earlier with a I guess they're going to become new customers, and it's a small company, it's a startup, and it was the partner that handles sales and the partner that handles marketing, and they both come from enterprise backgrounds in tech, and they were talking about the challenges that they face with the usual suspects like Marketo or HubSpot or Salesforce. But one of the and not to get into any specifics with other applications, but um, one of the things that the sales guy was talking about was that a lot of CRMs require you to attach a dollar figure to every contact. What's the size, what's the deal size, and how confident are you? What's the percentage of likelihood of close before, and as part of creating a contact. And we don't do that. There are a lot of things that we don't do, and there are a lot of things that we do, and actually it can almost become, uh, if you want, you can let it become overwhelming, or you can look at it as from a perspective of saying, well, this is how much of this platform I'm going to use for now, but I know as my business scales, all the tools I need are here, and they're already integrated, and they're already paid for, because we chose to structure our pricing kind of in the same way as it was when we were just an ESP 20 years ago. Starting out 20 years ago, it's based on contacts. And I actually had a conversation with Par just last week, about the pricing page, because I was talking about active contacts. We don't The pricing is based on valid emails, not dead emails that have been unsubscribed, or hard bounces, or spam contacts. You still want those in a suppression list to protect your deliverability and your online reputation, but you don't pay for them with us. But anyway, when you log in the morning, um, here's I've got some overdue activities. Uh, but here's my list of overdue activities. And the nice thing is that, and I've got some that are coming soon, uh, queued up. And the nice thing is that I can click on this and go directly to this person's contact page and right to the CRM activities page to catch up with that activity. And activities are different from opportunities. An activity may be sending an email. An opportunity is actually when that person or company is a prospect for becoming a customer. Um, and I'm trying to think where to begin. Um, and I think what I'd like is what are your questions what are your top of mind questions or challenges or problems or even, prejudices when it comes to thinking about talking about using CRM?
Well, I have a few things that you can probably touch to, and anyone can interrupt because everyone is equally important. But I recall you telling me that certain CRMs do certain things, and other CRMs or have other components. So I recall you telling me, Troy, why are you using this DocuSign thing? You could tie that in to your contracts. So I would love to see a sales flow from beginning to end if you have anything set up like that and see how that works. And to also understand if you have different types of flows that can happen at the same time. Um, and and then also the third question is when you say active contacts, does your system determine if the email is valid or not? I didn't quite get that
It
grasp that.
um it does. Okay. I'll start back to front. So yeah, it starts from replacing all the forms on your website with forms that you build in your Venv account and dropping those in. I mean, you can build an entire website, you can build multiple websites or landing pages using Venv. You can have a website or a landing page for every group, and you can have unlimited groups. And then when you build it in the Venv environment, it automatically includes the web tracking. We give you 50,000 pages, web page views per month included in your subscription. Otherwise, you can copy and paste the code into any website. But when you build, let's see, sorry, when you build sign up forms in this platform and you use them on your website, there are a lot of things that happen on the back end. One, we've integrated a program that will detect if it's valid, where it's coming from, including IP address and their online reputation. This is particularly valuable, I think, for B2C, but it also for B2B. If somebody's email address is a minus 100, you probably don't want to do business with them. Um, we also deliver all of the available research associated with that email address directly into their CRM profile. So you get that. Um, and this is one sign up form that you can use, and there are a lot of different things that you can do, including collect money using PayPal or Stripe. We just integrated Stripe a few months ago with this. But there's also ticketing, and ticketing it's a different kind of web form. It replaces Zendesk, but a lot of businesses that do um, inbound lead generation will use a ticketing form because it can be assigned to different salespeople at different times or days of the week, and it has extensive reporting on how the ticket was, quote unquote, was resolved.
Can I
Uh,
ask you a question on ticketing?
sure.
So is ticketing more of an assignment to a coworker, or can it be like technical support for a customer?
Yes, and
Oh,
yes.
great. So I've seen whole ticketing systems that cost X amount of dollars per month. And so you can create a form, I'm just walking through your logic now. You could create a form and then plug it in to your website with a piece of code or something.
Right.
And that form would go to this perhaps ticketing system,
Yeah,
and then it could be assigned to, person A or person B in my company to take care depending on what the issue was.
exactly.
Oh, and then once the ticket was finished, is there a way to email the originator, like the customer?
Sure.
Okay, and once you do that, I guess they can just check off the ticket and they know that it's been resolved, right?
Yes,
Oh, that's pretty powerful.
yeah, their ticket resolution, and it's also associated with that customer's profile,
Can
so
you
that
show
you have a history.
can you show the contact page to see what you store for the contacts?
Sure.
Yeah, we want to see who you know.
Oh God. Okay. Oh, let me get out of this group. I'll just go to my group and
So each individual group has its own contacts, or can
yeah.
contacts be spread among groups as well? Can they have multiple groups?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Oh, good.
So, oh, and so okay, we'll use Price. She's a friend. Um, so you can also have there are a lot of standard user fields. You can have unlimited custom user fields, and those user fields can be shared across the account or can be group specific.
Okay.
And you can also rearrange them. You can regroup them in modules and rearrange this to look the way you want it to look.
Where do you keep the notes for this contact?
Well, there's notes down here. Those are like preliminary notes. But for
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 your for
activities,
activities, yes.
yeah. So, um, like I said, she's a friend, so there's not any activity types, but and here's the other thing you were asking, you can filter. So if you've had somebody in your database for a while and you're looking for something specific, you can come in here and filter for exactly the kind of activities that you're for which you're searching.
I see.
So if someone is a contact and they're in the middle of a funnel or something, or a step-by-step situation where you've talked to them and then you have maybe an initial meeting and then you have pricing, and you're moving down the line, are those activities?
That's an opportunity.
Oh, opportunities. Okay. And so when they go there, you can create several steps through the opportunity.
Right. You can have,
Okay.
and there's a standard sales phase um, that's included. You can modify that, and you can have multiple sales phases. If you have different kinds of products, or you have an organization with salespeople selling different products, you might want to have different sales phases for each of those.
I see. And is there I don't know if they call it funnel. I don't know what the word is, but where they have all those steps. What if they have a parallel set of steps for something else? I guess you can do that as well. Because I've seen systems where they're at this stage, of the client life cycle or whatever, and then you move them to the next stage. Do you have anything that resembles that?
That's what you do. That's what you would do with in opportunities.
Oh, okay. And so in opportunities, you would have that. Okay.
So okay, I'm gonna pull back the kimono. And
It may be a little slow because we're on Zoom, so it's going to take a
that's
little.
okay. Um, so this is a prospect that I'm looking to close this week. And here,
Oh, cool.
yeah, you could
So those colors, those
take
what are
any
those
color
colors?
you
Those
want.
those are the those are the steps within the opportunity.
Yeah,
So they've completed three steps, and the fourth one is the one they're going to go to next.
right.
Okay.
These are my colors, my sales phase. You can have as many steps in a sales cycle as you choose.
Oh, that's interesting. Um, I know I'm just asking all these
And
questions.
here's that's but this is great because better than me just, talking and not really, oh, there's a typo. And not really addressing direct questions.
So if you wanted to see everyone in the opportunities section, say, I just want to see all my opportunities, and I want to see where they're at different stages. Is there a way to get a 10,000 foot view? That
There
way
it
you
is.
can see groups of people and who needs more attention than others. Because
There
it's all
there
about eating a frog. Priority first.
So while we're here, I just want to point out what's in the right hand column where doc you asked about documents. I think contracts and agreements. You can DocuSign. This is where your documents are stored in the media library, and this is where you can um, create and add a document and send it for review and signature, and then it's date and time stamped and it's attached to this person's record.
So they can do a digital signature.
Yes, you can create quotes and invoices, and they can be one-time invoices or recurring invoices. This is where you see the tickets. There haven't been any tickets created with Brian yet. And then there's a survey tool. And this is a really, and simulate survey, this is really interesting. So say you're doing a lot of outbound calling, and or maybe you have new salespeople, whether it's SDRs that that are part of your organization, or they're outsourced, or they're VAs or whatever. You can build surveys and for them to use to guide them through the conversation and make sure that they ask all the questions they need to get answered by simulating a survey. They go to this person's profile, they click on simulate survey. Well, I didn't choose one, um, but you choose a survey. Okay, customer satisfaction. And I want to simulate a survey.
So this simulate survey is more of a checklist.
Well, in this case, it is.
Hmm.
And you're simulating a survey as if you're that person. So, for example, you have a form, you have a lead gen form on your website that is a ticket form, and then somebody fields that request, and they call them back right away. And once that form is submitted, a profile is created for that person, so you can go to their profile and pull up simulate survey and use that survey in that call right away. Is that clear?
So the purpose of the simulate survey is to get them prepped on how to handle for SDR a potential client to
Oh,
convert to meeting or
I,
whatever.
that's one way.
So it's
That's
training. So it could be used for training.
Yeah, that's one way. That's one way of using it.
And another way could potentially be, hey, these are the questions, or this is the path that you would normally go through. Or
Right,
when you're talking to them, maybe you could have something along the lines of how a recap. How did the meeting go?
right.
And they can self-evaluate on how to improve. I'm
Or
making
you,
this stuff up, by the way, Lydia. So,
yeah.
so I don't know.
So, I mean, this is an extension of the survey tool. uh, you can build surveys and send them out with, you can send out an email broadcast with a link to a survey so everybody can answer. You can create a survey and put it on your website and enable anonymous responses. So that lets people who are not in your database respond to the survey.
Oh, very
It's
interesting.
just, yeah,
So so your email scheduling, how many emails can you send at a time?
as many as you want.
As many as you want, based on. So what's the pricing like? You said it's per user or per registered contact.
It's per contact. So I just changed my pricing because uh, via Paris suggestions, um, and it starts at $150 a month. That gives you 5,000 contacts and one additional user besides the account owner.
Okay. And then from that point on, how does it?
Um, Pricing is published
Okay,
on the website.
on the
Uh,
website. Yeah, I'll
it's
check it
like
out.
now you have, so for $1,000 a month, it would be 25,000 contacts and an additional, this is awful. I forget, 4 or 5 additional seats as
Don't
well.
don't worry, Lydia. I can't remember half the stuff I say. That's why I write so many posts and stuff. Like, did I say that? That sounds like something I would say.
So when you compare, I mean, functionally, we're enterprise level. We exceed HubSpot. I mean, Salesforce is just a
Well, if
sense.
you have an entire management system for customers and a way to sign contracts, and if you could see contacts where they're at in the, I always say sales funnel, but where they're at in the sales process, um,
Right.
those those are the three things that are kind of important to me and keeping track of the people. But I think I have two things I want to ask. The first is, how do I see a high level of who's in the funnel or who's in the sales process? And I know
Um,
it's a different term. It wasn't sales pro? It was, what do you call that category?
I call them sales phases, but it's a set. Here you go, opportunities funnel, and these are
Oh,
all opportunities. This is right on your
opportunities.
dashboard. So click
Love to
on it.
see that. So do you see? Okay, so those are individuals in the funnel,
Exactly.
and are they arranged in order of the stage? I'm
Well,
assuming they are.
clicked on yellow, so now we'll click on
Ah,
blue,
got it.
and these, yeah. How easy is that?
Yeah, that's nice. I wasn't expecting to see it like that. So if they move from one part of the opportunity funnel to another, you just select them. Like when you finish, when you go into the file, you say they're now on this stage.
Exactly.
Okay, and then you're creating these stages are something you had to create because every
Well,
opportunity is different.
there's a sales funnel.
The
There's
standard one.
opportunity, a standard one, and I customized it. I changed colors, and
Okay, easiest way to do that. Okay.
right.
And as far as the emailing stuff, just curious on how you are emailing. Is this like a, I'm going to broadcast my customers or certain people that are tagged in my database
Right.
on Ventive? Is it just a one email? Is there an email sequencing feature? Like, for example, Woodpecker. What I do on LinkedIn for my customers is that if you've connected and you haven't really responded on LinkedIn 30 days, I use a Zapier to pull in their data, and I move it to a spreadsheet, and then another Zap to move it to Woodpecker, which is an email system. So how thorough is that? I don't even expect it to be thorough, but how does your email stuff work? What are the options for that?
So so okay, we are in Zapier as CRM connector, um, and I'll show you more about that in just a minute. Um, There are a couple of different things that you can do. Easy Builder is a drag and drop tool to build email templates. And then once you build the template and you save it in your media library, you come back to Emailer and pull it up. Here's something that I did last night, just a really simple email to a small group of six. Um, and you'll see, we talked about surveys and creating surveys and sending out a link via an email. So it's really simple. You click on survey and you choose it and you say insert survey placeholder, boom, click here to take our survey. You use the same process when you create an event. Um,
So this right here is a way to kind of email a lot of people at one time. If you have thousands of people, does it, when it's emailing, and this is maybe getting on the nerd side of me, does it email small portions at a time so it doesn't ding your email, so you don't get in trouble or?
right. So when you send a broadcast, the emails are perceived as single sends.
Okay.
We've had that technology in place for a long time.
And can you do
Uh,
sequencing like after 4 days, if they don't respond, to do this or that? So you can
yes,
have several emails behind each other in a sequence.
you can do autoresponder series after form submission that, and then you can also do you can trigger drip campaigns.
Drip campaigns.
And here's a nice thing, campaign optimizer. You talk about A/B testing. We let you do we let you do ABCDE testing. In other words, you can test up to 5 different iterations of an email.
Okay. And
And
and if they reply, is they
well,
does
wait.
this have a standard unsubscribe thing?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Well, it's good
Well,
to know because it's important because this sounds like this is a replacement of, if I can use Zapier and create a Zap to pull their data into
right.
here, right? I can put them in a certain category for a sequence, and that's what I'm doing, already on something else. And if I pay, say, $25 per account, for that, it just, kind of makes sense to do it like this. And then if we had, for example, I'm assuming if I had clients to do the same thing, I would get some kind of special licensing and pay for per client for that feature or something.
Well, if they have a Venom account, they get everything.
Right. So
But yes,
I'm just thinking out loud.
there is
Sorry.
yes, there is a partner program.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Sure.
so
Awesome.
with this, you choose what percentage you want to of your audience that you want to test, and how long you want the test to run. And once the test has run, we automatically send out the best performing version to the balance of the list.
I have
Uh,
never seen that before.
haha! How about that? Isn't that
But you
nifty?
said you can build landing pages here too, right? With your system.
Yes, yes, you can. Over here, and you can have a landing page or a website for each group, and you can have unlimited groups. So that means you can have unlimited landing pages and websites.
Have you thought about conversational landing pages like chatbots?
Um, you can probably I
Well,
haven't.
it's just it's just adding a script to the page and it's going to
Right.
pop
So
up on the
yeah, I mean,
conversational
so
landing
you
page.
can, yeah, you could do that. What is it, CSS or um,
No,
JavaScript or
I it's um, it's a UI. It's a JavaScript. Yeah, it's a script that you put on the page, and it
yeah.
opens up as a landing page. Yeah.
So when you're building a page, it's graphical and but you can click a button to see the source and just drop in the source code for the chatbot.
Right.
You can also, create custom pages and import them here.
So I have a question. Again, I'm just thinking out loud. If I have a funnel site, right, and what I mean by funnel site, I meant a nicely designed site to push a potential in a certain direction. I may have a video, I may have information on it, and they go to the next step, and they may book an appointment, and all this other stuff. Um, or some of these components here, forms, we just have a piece of code, we can put it in there. That way we can keep track of that information.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like. Yeah. So this is really good about if they hit the page, if they fill the form out, pulling that data in for a number of different reasons, whether it be
Correct me
um,
if I'm wrong, but basically, if you build a form using this, it's going to take the data that people put in the form and create a contact for that form. And then you
Exactly.
automatically will have that contact in your database, and then you can start using all the other features to manage that contact.
And
so,
when that contact is added to a group, as it will be because the form is associated with a group, you can have that trigger any number of different actions. You
mhm.
can trigger a workflow. You can trigger a drip campaign. You can trigger a customer journey, uh, which can come on, which can include all different, you start the journey, and so there's an input and you use if then rules. So,
Mhm.
if they do this, then they're going to uh, do do this action.
And those actions should be anything between sending them
Right.
an email, or what kind of actions could these be?
It can be a workflow, it can be a drip campaign, it can be an alert to call an activity to call them or to connect on or to go back and DM them on LinkedIn or
Oh,
any
okay.
however
So,
you
so
want.
you can move them. You can move them to the sales funnel. You could have
Right,
someone get pinged as a request saying, "Hey, Troy, you need to go and ask them to do this."
right,
It could trigger messages, to do lists, and or it could trigger your internal email sequencing, for example. Okay,
right.
interesting. Customer journey, love it.
There's one company that built a 2-year long customer journey.
Wow, that sounds awful. 2 years.
Two
I
years.
can't remember 2 weeks ago. Like 2 years.
They're just
Like their
touching.
email's not gonna even be good in 2 years.
You know,
It's
one of the things I found, I mean, the most important thing for me in a CRM solution is how I enter my contacts and how, because I basically every time I talk to someone, I record what I talked and I set up my actions. And a lot of these CRMs, when they become more, add more features like Salesforce, you said, they have so many fields that it takes people away from the core of what they use a CRM for. One thing is salespeople using it to manage their schedule, and the other one, of course, is as a manager, as an owner, you want to have an overview of
right.
what people are doing. Um,
So so yes, you want to add you want to add a new contact. And I customized this. I added some fields. You can
right,
do whatever you want. So you put it in there. And you can either create close or create and edit further. And if you go to create and edit further, then you would add an activity or an opportunity. We've tried to in response to sales requests, we've really worked hard to streamline the process as much as possible for salespeople. So, for example, um, let me go. And if you want to look for somebody, I'm going to go look for me. And I have all of these records. And so I'm going to go here and I've enabled Twilio that is integrated. So I can literally click to call or click to text
Okay.
this. If I want to add them to a new group or take them out of a group, you click here. You can look at,
What are the groups? Can you click on the groups? Let me see what the
sure,
groups.
But these groups are groups that you've created. They have probably standard groups as
but
well as what you've created.
there's no standard groups. There's,
Okay. But the good thing is you can select, so one person can be like the general group, that you just have the info. One could be, moving towards customers. One could be like technical support people, right?
right.
Yeah.
Tick,
Okay.
ticketing.
Ticketing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm And then, oh, and you're also separating groups based on their category of person.
right.
Got it. Nice.
You can make them anything you want. The other thing, if you see appointment calendar, so you can create, this replaces Calendly as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh, that's another bonus. Okay.
well, it is a bonus because, every
Yeah.
time, it might not be as elegantly designed as Calendly. I mean, it gives you, hold on,
Well, also, even if you wouldn't use that,
it gives you a calendar page.
if, for example, if I have a funnel and I use Calendly, or I don't use Calendly, I use a different one, but I like if I want to keep my calendar software, I use Once Hub, right? Um, at the end of it, we could trigger a zap, right, to pull that data into this database with
Right,
that person. So you're always collecting data. So even if you don't use that calendar function, you have the ability to zap whatever calendar you have to this system, which is powerful. That means every booking that I get, I not only, if I lose that software or whatever, it's always going to be a record of that in here, and it'll be grouped like, yeah, we had a meeting so and so.
right.
And does this tie into your Google Calendar?
Yes.
Oh, okay, very good.
Oh, what I was going to show you. This is something. It's pretty quick here. Actually, this was just added. Um, is being able to. We added the Zapier category, and these are a lot of pre-built Zaps for adding and updating contacts.
Oh, okay. You know what? Okay, I see a LinkedIn there. All right.
Yeah, but
I
it's
was-
LinkedIn bonus. That's the only thing that LinkedIn gives us.
No, no, but we can pull data from LinkedIn. I can pull data from LinkedIn, and then it would just be a general. If that's those are pre-made zaps, but I think if we use like a webhook, you can get a webhook, right? If you did that, you could fill in that information.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Uh,
not it's not a LinkedIn specific. Webhook is a general stuff to pull data, and then once it comes in, we just pair it up where.
well, it might still have to go. It might still have to go through the two-step program of, into a Google sheet or not. You and I,
Um.
we can talk
Well, we'll
about that.
see. We'll see. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, a lot of people put it in a Google Sheet anyway, so they have a double backup
Right.
of the information. But you should be able to put directly into it. I mean, if you guys can do a web if you can just grab data, you can pair it up usually. So these are pre-made. This is very good. Um, are there any other features that we need? You got QuickBooks in here. What is all this stuff here? What
These
is
are
that?
ways. This is for importing contacts.
Oh, got it.
What
So
about
there's
Evernote? What's the Evernote thing?
oh,
Software.
No, I know what Evernote is.
does anybody use Evernote anymore?
I mean, I have my own product that competes with it, so that's why.
Okay. Um,
But so it just pulls notes from Evernote into this?
um, I haven't used it in so long.
Yeah, it
Uh,
looks like it just pulls contacts, your contact details, and pairs it up with what's in the system.
right. This is
It
for
just
contact.
imports stuff. Yeah.
What
Actually,
you know what the AP is it like an XML thing that you import or what are you importing?
I don't. I don't. I mean,
Okay,
it just you click the button and it imports.
I see. It's you probably have a Zapier. You zap it, right?
Well, no, the Evernote integration predated Zapier.
Yeah. So what does Evernote export as? And that's probably of one of those formats they import.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could probably do more with a Zap now than with the original integration.
Yeah,
And
but Zapier gets pretty expensive. It's like $400 a month.
What is Zapier?
Oh yeah, if you start using Zapier, and because on one account I'll pull when I get a welcome message sent out, I'll pull the data, right? And then once after 30 days, I'll pull data and move to a spreadsheet, and then on the spreadsheet, I'll move it to the
That's why, Troy. I mean, that's the whole reason you want to have an integrated system like this, so that you don't have five different applications to do
yes.
something that one application can do for you much more cost effectively.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So on the calendar like functions, the calendar league like functions, do you have a vetting process or forms they need to fill out? As form fields they have to fill out? Because one thing I do with my Once Hub is I have certain requirements they fill out. If they don't fill it out, I don't have a meeting with them.
oh yeah, when you set hold on, appointment calendar. Um, yeah, and um, and actually, you do that over here. You start over here with uh, creating creating the parameters, defining the parameters for
Awesome.
calendar
So
invitation.
can you block out certain times you're not available and stuff like that?
Right. Um, let me go to booking,
Hmm. Cool.
and let me just go someplace where I don't have anything yet. Here we go. Let's go to Monday. And so you define the time slot that you're available,
Hmm.
and then how how far ahead do you want to
Oh,
do
you
the
go up to 8 weeks ahead. Okay.
yeah,
Or okay, cool.
or recurring every Monday, and then the time and what kind of meetings are you available for,
Hmm.
and then this is where you customize the message.
Yeah,
We
that
just
does make sense. Like, why would you set a meeting up like 3 months later? Like, it's,
well, I'm
that's
creating
true.
I'm
So,
creating my calendar
yeah.
so that when somebody comes, like when they come to the website, the Ventive website, and they click on schedule a call, they're going to see something like this.
Hmm.
And so, and when they click on it, and these are the appointments that were created, when they click on it, oh, hold on. Um, it'll open up and give them these options. It'll have the fields. I don't require approval, pre-approval necessarily
Hmm.
for my calendar. I do for the one on on the Ventive website. So I have two different booking calendars, um, and uh, and if you have salespeople, each of those salespeople or whomever is interacting with your customers or your prospective customers can have his or her own calendar as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, as long as it integrates in Google. Um,
Yeah.
cool. Well,
And I
Karan,
share.
do you have any other questions? This is really, really good. And I guess unless Karan has any other questions, my last thing would be to let us know how to get in contact with you, for the viewers, because we'll be replaying this. And, and if there's any YouTube tutorials on this, that would be good too.
How
There
long have you been around?
uh 20 years.
20 years. Okay.
We've been around. We're not going anywhere. I'm looking for, you know what? I'm screen sharing, but I don't, and I can't find. Here we go. I'll just do this. Oh, we're down to just three of us.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody away.
Yeah, and I have a meeting back to back, so we're gonna have to go ahead and drop off. So what I'm trying to do is have you provide everyone your contact information, and I guess
So
you just go to your website
I think the
and
easiest, yeah, I was going to say, just go to the website, go to Ventive. The button is there to set up a trial. I'll get an alert that a new trial account has been set up, and I'll follow up with you, and we can go from there. Or you can just, send me an email.
sure. So they go to ventive.com, VENNTIVE.com, and they
Yes.
can just register from there. Awesome. So this has been really helpful, and thank you
Thank you.
very much. And hopefully I'll be able to chop this up into smaller segments because it's a very useful tool.
Yeah, I guess I do have to do. Bye, Karan. Yeah, I guess I have to do a YouTube one of these days.
Yeah,
Some
I
you.
think tutorials would be nice in general, like how to do this, how to do that, because it's kind of no one knows until they get into it. That's all.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It
You
is.
ask great questions,
Oh,
and
thank you. Well, it's great seeing you, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. But
okay.
have a great day. I got one more meeting to do, and I know you're back to back to meetings as well. So I'll do my best, and in the next month or two, I'll go ahead and chop this up into smaller segments, and you can use it on your posting as well.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye bye.